Hi everyone, this is Mike Tannian. I hope you've had a great day. In this tutorial, I'll be covering the basics of how to build a free WordPress website with the purpose of marketing yourself as an author and building a following of people who will hopefully buy your book once it's published. If it's already published, then there's no time like the present to start building an audience of people and building those meaningful and trusting relationships in an online community. So this tutorial is for writers of varying experience and skill levels who are amateur WordPress users. Let's get started. I'm going to open up my web browser. I use Chrome. You may be using Internet Explorer or Firefox. Alright, and I'm going to go to wordpress.com. Follow me there. And it brings you right to the site where we can create the URL, where we can create the address of our new website, okay? I recommend making this your name. My alias for this tutorial is going to be Wendy Peppercorn. I don't know if you've ever seen The Sandlot. If you have, then you know who Wendy Peppercorn is. Your name may be taken. If it's taken, I suggest doing something like Wendy Peppercorn Author or Wendy Peppercorn 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to stick with Wendy Peppercorn 3 for this presentation. Alright, and if you scroll down here, you will see that Wendy Peppercorn 3 already exists. Who would have thought? Let's see if Wendy Peppercorn 2 exists. Alright, it looks like we're good to go. And another option for you is you could do your middle name as well. Wendy Susan Peppercorn, for instance. Alright, and I am Mike Tannian. I'm going to enter my email address here, if I can remember what it is. Username can just be your name, no spaces, all lowercase. And you'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. 3 columns here. We're only going to focus on this first column. The other ones are upgrades that cost more. This first one is free. So right here we're going to click on Create Blog. Blog title. This is the name that's going to show up at the top of your site. So of course you want it to be your name. Wendy Peppercorn, since she's my alias. Tagline. I'm just going to make it the name of her autobiography, her fake autobiography. You could make it the name of your book that you're either writing now or you've already published. Or you could make the tagline something, you could fashion it after the theme of your site. So if you're going to be writing romance blog posts, your tagline could be something about romance. After clicking next step, I'm brought to step 2, where we choose our theme. There's a lot of theme options. The theme is like, it's like a house. You know, imagine your house shopping. Every house you see is going to have a different layout. It's going to be structured differently. One might have a huge kitchen and a small living room. The other one might have a normal sized kitchen and a big living room. So likewise, every theme is different. The theme is really just your template. I'm looking for one in particular. Let's see if I can find it. Alright, I'm looking for Hemingway Rewritten. And other authors, other bloggers out there might have a similar theme, but the cool thing is, even people who own a house with the exact same structure, when you walk inside of it, it's totally different. because you as an author are going to spice it up, spruce it up. You're going to interior decorate it, and it's going to be yours, and it's going to be personal. Alright, step 3, we're going to go to customize it. This enables us to make some first-hand changes before we do anything else, just some quick things. The first thing I'm going to do, really the only thing I'm going to do here, is change the header. So I'm going to add a new image. And it's important for me to mention now, I've already created a header, I've already created all the content to put into this website. After you see this, or maybe you've already created the content, but after you see this, you'll need to create your own content, and you'll put it in as well. So select files. So I'm just going to go to all my computer's documents here. Alright, and I'm going to upload this header. You'll see right here that this theme, this template, Hemingway Rewritten, it recommends an image dimension of 1280 by 426 pixels. So I actually created this header in Photoshop, and I made it the exact size that I wanted so that it would fit in this layout perfectly. Almost every computer has a program called Paint, Microsoft Paint, which allows you to do some photo editing, but it's very limited. If you go with that, and if your header, if the picture that you're uploading for your header is not the exact dimensions, it might show up pixelated, it might not show up that well in the site, so you're just going to be careful. You want to be careful about that. Alright, so you saw it pop up there, and I like this theme. Scroll down and the the life buoy shows up a little bit more. I think that looks pretty sharp. And this is just the default layout, so we're going to be editing this. One thing I do want to show you is these templates are either fixed, fluid, or responsive. If you look down here, this is going to show you what your website is going to look like from someone who's visiting you either on their computer monitor, on their tablet, or on their mobile device. So let's click to tablet. See how the screen adjusts? This is what someone's going to see if they're looking at your site on the tablet. The site is responsive, so it adjusts automatically. Now, watch this. It continues to adjust. It narrows down. They don't have to scroll left and right. That's the nice thing about a responsive theme. It all compresses automatically. So when someone's viewing your site from an Android phone or an iPhone, they won't have to scroll left and right. That would be a real hassle, and they probably would just get tired of it and not even stick around. So having a responsive theme is important. So I just wanted to show you that. We're going to save our changes. Alright, and let's click here on next step. Step 4, I'm not going to share this right now. You could connect it with your Facebook or your Twitter. Alright, it's asking me to verify my email address before I do anything. So I'm going to go to my Gmail. I'm not seeing it here. I'm going to send it to another email address. Alright. Okay, now I got it. And that's all I did. I just had my email address changed on the account. So hopefully you'll type in your email address correctly the first time around and you won't have to deal with this. It's not really that big of a deal though. I'm about to get to where I want to go. Alright, and it's already made the change. Save changes. So if you didn't make that mistake that I made, you would go to your Gmail or whatever email address you have, and then you would simply click into the WordPress email that was sent to you and confirm your email address. And that just allows you to publish your first post. Okay, I'm going to go to my site, wendypeppercorn2 at wordpress.com. Not wordpress.com, .wordpress.com. Alright, and it shows up. We already changed the header, so that's still up there. Now I'm going to take you to the dashboard. So on the top left side of the screen, click on your name and then scroll down to dashboard. Now we've just created our free WordPress site. At this point I'm going to go through some basic site construction techniques. And again, these things are focused around marketing yourself as a writer. I'm only going to put what I consider to be the most essential pages and posts on your site starting out, and then I'll give you the reins and you can pick up from here. So starting out, let's talk about adding your first blog post. And by the way, this dashboard, as you see here, there's all these tabs, all these options on the left side of the screen. This dashboard is like, it's like the backstage of a theater production. So your audience is going to only see the stage. They're only going to see the site, right? The things that you publish, the posts that you publish, the pages that you create. They don't see any of this. This is where you go behind the scenes, where you go backstage, and just like an actor or an actress, you'll be changing your costumes, you'll be changing things around, getting props, things of that nature. Changing the layout of the stage. That's all the dashboard is. So don't be overwhelmed by all the options here. We just went to posts. I'm going to click on add new post. If you already have content created, you can title it whatever you want. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to title it Sample Blog Entry 1. And as I said, I already created content, so I'm just going to open that up. Sample Blog Entry 1 content. Alright, just going to copy and paste it here. Alright, and here we go. My content is up here now, and you know, you could write your content right now if you wanted and just start typing. That's a great thing, is you can do all your work right here. You don't have to copy and paste from Microsoft Word or anything. I'm just doing that to make this tutorial go a little bit smoother. So right up here in the publish box, you can click an option called Preview. Preview is your friend. As you can see, another tab pops up and it gives you a view of your site the exact way that a viewer is going to come in and see your post. So just like that, it's up there. I haven't published it yet, but this is just previewing what it's going to look like when I do publish it. So we're not going to publish it now. We'll get to that in a minute. First, what I want to do is go through tagging and categories. Categories and tags are important for your site. It's important for search engine optimization. I'm sure you've heard that term thrown around. Really, all it is when someone types in something relevant, something they're interested into Google or Bing, when they type, let's say they're interested in blogging, or maybe they're interested in learning more about search engine optimization. So they type that into Google and they click enter, and all these result pages pop up. You want yours to be up there as high as possible, and tags and categories help you to do that. So for this site, we're going to create 2 new categories. The categories are like the table of contents. Imagine a nonfiction book. It's like the table of contents of a nonfiction book. If I open up a nonfiction book, I may not be interested in reading the whole thing. I might only be interested in one of the topics. So I'm going to find that in the table of contents, and I'm going to go to that page, and I'm going to read on what I'm interested in. Categories function the same way on your site. People can search by category to find the topic they're interested in. Alright, now we're going to add some tags. Tags are important too. If categories are like the table of contents, tags are like the index of your nonfiction book. They're like the buzzwords, the keywords, the things that are most important. So for this particular post, you can read it if you'd like at another time, but some of the buzzwords are SEO, search engine optimization, SERPs, search engine results pages, blogging. My alias is Wendy Peppercorn. I could put her name. I could put author. The book that I have, the fake book that I've created for her, is an autobiography, so I could put autobiography. I could even put importance of tagging. You don't want more than about 12 or 15 tags, okay? But you might as well, I recommend getting close to 10 if you can find that many buzzwords. So viewers are also going to be able to go to your site and search by tags if they're interested. And categories and tags, they help tell Google what is relevant about your site, okay? So that when people actually search these terms, hopefully your site pops up. Alright, and one last thing I'm going to do, well, the second to last thing I'm going to do, I want to add an insert read more tag. So you can click that button right there. And let's do this as well, toolbar toggle, because if you're writing in here, this gives you some more options. For instance, you can undo something. You can underline, you can change the text color. So I like to have that open. So insert read more text. I'm going to show you what that does in just a minute. First, let's publish. Oh, and actually, this is more about blogging than lifeguarding, so I'm going to uncheck Life of Lifeguard. I only want this listed under blogging. And I'm going to publish. Alright. And this is just WordPress congratulating me. See over here, you published your first blog, hooray. I'm going to X out of that. Okay. So you see now it's been published. I'm going to go to my site as if somebody was just clicking into it for the first time. Alright, so we had added that insert read more tag. This is what it created. It created this continue reading option. So if you're posting blog posts, you don't want somebody to have to scroll down through all of those blog posts. You just want them to be able to see a short excerpt, hopefully something that ends in a bit of a cliffhanger, and that reels them in, lures them in to read the rest of it, and to click on continue reading. And then it'll bring them to another page where your entire full post is displayed. So again, imagine if someone first came to your site and you had like 10 blog posts that were as long as this. They'd have to keep scrolling down and down and down in order to see everything. You allow them to access more of your content quicker by inserting that read more tag. Okay, and we're going to go back in. We're going to edit this, and you can just click on the edit button right there. Now you'll find that WordPress will bring you to this view. I actually don't like this view. This is one way to edit things. I'm not a big fan of it. So my personal preference, I just clicked back there. I'm going to go back. My personal preference is to go back in through your dashboard. Go down to posts and click back in. Now I can edit it from this view, which again is just my preference. You can edit it from the other one as well, but for whatever reason I like this one more. So one last thing I want to do is show you how to create a link in your site. So I'd already created one, I just removed it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So when people visit this site, let's say I want to bring them to another page, or I want to bring them to another site. I can highlight it. I can go up here to insert, edit link, and I can type in the URL. Of the site or the page that I want to bring them to. So I want to bring them to my site, MikeTannian.com. And I'm going to click Open Link in a new window or tab. You'll find that I always select that option. Add link. Alright, and we're going to update. Okay, preview changes. And let's click on it and see where it brings us. Okay, so it brought us to my site, Mike Tannian. And this is the site that I am self-hosting. This is mine. I went through onein1.com and I own this site. Web hosting your own site is going to give you some more options. It's going to give you access to a lot of plugins that are going to extend the functionality of your site and the things you can do. So I'm pretty pleased with the way this has turned out. And I encourage you to visit this. I'm going to be posting on, from start to finish, the gears of writing and publishing. So I encourage you to come to my site, read some of my posts, and follow my newsletter. But right now we'll go back to the free WordPress site that we're creating. And that's all we want to do right now. That's all I want to show you as far as the blog posts are concerned. The next thing we're going to do is deal with widgets. So let's go to this sidebar here on the left, scroll down to Appearance, and then go to one of the sub-tab items, widgets. Okay. So you see here sidebar, footer 1, footer 2, footer 3, and then all the available widgets are listed here on the left. So this is going to allow you to custom design the layout of your site. So by sidebar, all it means is this right here, this sidebar on the right side of your site. By footer, all it means is the stuff down here at the bottom. So we're going to decide what content we actually want to input into these spaces on our site. So in our sidebar, I don't want most of this stuff. We can just get rid of it. I'm going to take all of it out, including the meta. I'm going to keep the search though. And I'm going to take everything out of footer 1 as well. The only thing I want in footer 1 is the meta. And all that is your administrative stuff. So I'm going to call it exactly that. Administrator options or stuff. You can do what you want. Save it. And there's nothing in footer 1, footer 2, or 3. Alright, so let me show you what this did here. Administrator options allow you to log in and log out of your site. So instead of going up in through WordPress, this is a bit of a shortcut. You can just go straight to your site, go down to the footer, click login, and immediately you'll be brought into this view where you can click into your dashboard. So it's really just a convenient factor. Most of these other things, site admin, entries, comments, those aren't as pertinent for you. Now in footer 2, I want contact information. So it's really easy. You just drag and drop. Or, actually look at that. So I'm going to show you both. We're going to practice drag and dropping. Drag and drop. And then you can customize what you want to show. I'm going to change the title to contact information in case people want to contact me. Let's go with 111 Lifeguard Lane. I'm sure that's where Wendy Peppercorn lives, and I don't want a map of where I live to show up to everybody, so I'm going to uncheck that button. I don't want my phone number, so I'm going to uncheck that. And we can keep this for now. That's sort of your preference. I'm going to save it. Okay. Now, as far as the sidebar is concerned, I want search. And I think the only other thing that I want is categories. And here, let me show you something else. I'll bring it back over there. One other thing, you can just click on it, and then you can decide where you want it to go. Whether you want it in your footer, 1, 2, or 3, or if you just want your sidebar, you just click that. Oh, and add widget, that would help. Okay, and I'm just going to call it categories. You could call it something like search by category. And I'm going to take you back to the site and show you what's changed. Okay, so all the categories that I've currently posted on show up here in the sidebar. Here's another cool option. We can make it display as a drop-down menu. And that's actually my preference, so I'm going to do that. And before I continue, I'm going to actually install one more post. So this is just to show you something that I think is neat about the drop down category menu, so you don't have to do this. Alright, sample blog entry 2. Just going to open that up. Okay, and I'm going to title it that as well. And again, I'm going to copy and paste. Okay, so this is just a little blog post about the autobiography. So I'm just promoting it in this post. So I already have my categories. Since the name of the autobiography is Life of a Lifeguard, and I'm promoting my book in this post, I'm going to check that category item. And, you know, I'll insert some tags like autobiography, lifeguard. I became famous from the movie The Sandlot, so why not? I'll put The Sandlot in there. Just going to add those. And you would hopefully add a few more than that, but that's all I'm going to show for now for the sake of time. I'm going to publish. Okay, and again, WordPress congratulates me. They get tired of congratulating you after about the third or fourth post. Okay. So as you'll see, sample blog entry 2 actually pops up first. So your most recent post shows up at the top. Oh, let me go to the front of my site. Okay, your most recent post shows up at the top. You can see that. And that actually, in a minute here, we're going to get into creating pages. And this is one of the differences between posts and pages. A post is an entry listed in reverse chronological order on your blog homepage or on the post page. So we are having our post go to our front homepage, the landing page that people come to first. So that's where our posts are going to show up. A page is something that's static and it's not listed by date. Pages do not use tags and categories, and an about page is a classic example. Okay, but what I wanted to show you is now we have one post on each category. One post that falls under the topic of blogging, another post that falls under the topic of my autobiography, Life of a Lifeguard. So somebody can come to my site and search by category. So if they click on blogging, let's say they're interested in that, it's automatically going to take them to a page that generates every single entry that I have posted about blogging. And I've only posted one, so that's the only one that shows up. But if I had posted 5, then 5 would have shown up. And so this allows your viewers to go directly to the content that they consider to be the most valuable. Alright, and that is actually all I want to show you about widgets. If you go to the bottom, you'll see that the contact information was put in there as well. And now we're going to create some pages. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Pages. I'll just go to all pages for now. And your default site comes with an about page, so we'll just edit that. And it also comes with default content. I'm going to exit out of that, and I'm going to put in my fake author blurb. So this is just where you're writing a little bit about yourself. I recommend putting in a short biography and a long biography in case people want more information on you, or on the other hand, if people just want to read a little bit about you, they don't have to, scroll through paragraphs and paragraphs of your personal history. So I just have a little bit here about myself. And now I'm going to add media. So we haven't really done this yet. This is similar to uploading a header image. So you just click on that add media page like I just did, and we're going to upload files. Click here to select files in the middle, and again I'm brought to my computer documents, and I already have an author photo ready to go. So this should just be a picture of yourself. So it's uploaded now, as you can see, and if you look down here to the bottom right, you can adjust the alignment. I want it to align to the left. Insert into page. And it just pops up right there. The whole point of this visual view, you can toggle between views. This is the coding that you're really not concerned with. The visual view is trying to give you a look into, before you click preview changes, it's trying to give you a look into how it's actually going to show up on your site. So I'm hoping that this is going to wrap the text around the picture. Let's see if it does that. Yes, it does. So I think that looks good. I'm content with that. Let's say you actually don't want to do that and you want your text below the picture. Well, you can just go in, click in, and hit enter a few times. I'm going to go to preview changes again. Alright, see this huge space below the picture? That'll happen sometimes, and all I do is go back and keep adjusting it until I find what I want. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I got lucky that time. Sometimes I have to go back and forth a couple times, but that looks good. So for now I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to click update. And congratulations, we have created our first page. And for the purposes of this tutorial, we're only going to create 2 more. The second one is going to be all about your books. And then the third one is going to be a connection to your newsletter, which we'll start talking about, although I won't go through that whole process in this tutorial. So I'm going to click on Add New Page there on the left. And I want this to be my books page. So you might be thinking, well, where are these pages showing up? How is somebody going to click on them? I'll show you in just a minute as soon as we create all of them. So I'm just going to call it books. You can come up with your own creative title if you want. And again, this is my blank canvas. I can write whatever I want. What I'm going to do is, well, I don't know what position you're in, but Wendy Peppercorn has written 1 book, and it's called Life of a Lifeguard, like I've already said. She's currently working on another book called Lies of a Lifeguard. And I encourage you to go to my to the fake site that I've created here, open up a new tab and go to wendypeppercorn2.wordpress.com. And you can look at everything that I've done and even read some of the content. I tried to make it a little bit humorous for your benefit, and it was fun for me too. So now we can create an actual header here just by clicking on this paragraph thing, and it has a drop down menu. I'm gonna choose heading 3, and I'm even gonna underline it. I'm gonna do the same thing for this. Okay, and now I'm going to put in the content. Oh. Okay, so fake book blurb 1. Just going to copy and paste it. And I'm also going to input my fake blurb, my fake book blurb 2. Alright, now one thing I've also done, and I recommend that you do this as well, I use Photoshop to create a book cover. So this is going to add a lot. Book covers are important. You need something that people are going to want to click on, something that's going to entice them and draw them in, just like a real book cover would that you're searching for in Barnes and Noble. Oh, actually, I'm going to click on Add Media so I can upload my book cover file. Fake book cover. Okay. And as you'll see, it actually matches the header. Obviously, I did that on purpose. And again, I want to make sure it's aligned to the left, and I'm going to insert that into the page. So it pops up there, and let's preview to see what this looks like. Alright, I think that looks pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with that. So, in my opinion, this looks pretty sleek. There's a good looking book cover, and one cool thing that you can actually do is click on this image, and yes, you can edit it, and if I wanted it to be bigger, I could do that. If I wanted it to be a thumbnail, I could do that. I could realign it. I'm not going to do any of these things now though. But another thing you can do is you can create a link. So let's say you have actually already published this on Amazon, or you want to. You can just put the Amazon URL right there, and people can click on your book, and it'll bring them to Amazon, where hopefully they'll buy it. I'm not going to do that right now. I liked the way that this looked, so I'm just going to click Publish. Doke, and we're going to create one more page, and I'm just going to create this page in theory. I'm not actually going to add content into it at this time. And this is the newsletter page. Now, the whole point of the newsletter page is to get people to sign up for your newsletter. You're like, duh, that's obvious. Well, so this is the rationale. This is sort of the theory behind it. You deliver free, invaluable content to your readership. You build trusting and solid relationships with people online in your online community. And so by the time you've published your book, you already have that relationship established. You already have a following of X number of people. Hopefully these people are following your newsletter. And so by the time you publish your book, by the time you create that link to Amazon that people can click on, well, you already have a certain number of people who hopefully will go in there and purchase your book. So that's what we would do here in the newsletter, and I normally would create the newsletter form and connect it to MailChimp. I'm not going to do it I'm not going to do it right now in the interest of time. But I will give you my contact information at the end of this tutorial, and you can contact me, and we can work together to create that MailChimp newsletter if you are interested. So I'm just going to click on Publish because, again, I'm not going to add any content into this right now. Okay, now I'm going to show you how all of these pages have popped up as menu items on your front page. I'm going to refresh. Okay, see this? This is your menu. And as we created each page, it automatically created these in the order. It automatically sent each page title up here into this menu in the order that we created the page. So we're in the books right now. I can click to About, and it'll bring me right there. And no matter where I go, my sidebar is still the same. There's still the search bar, which I like to have in case people are searching for a certain tag or a certain category, or if people maybe know the title of one of your blog posts, and instead of scrolling down to find it, they might just want to type it in the search bar and look for it. So actually, let's go through that right now. I'm going to type in sample blog entry 2. So as you see, both of these popped up because they're both sample blog entries. Alright, but let's say you don't want the menu in this order, or let's say you want to get rid of them. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we'll go back into the dashboard. I'll go down to Appearance once again, and I'll go directly right to this Menus subtab. Okay, this is our menu. And I'm going to click Create Menu. And personally, I'm fine with it being called Menu 1. So, okay, let's say you want to change the order. Maybe you want books before the About section. I'm going to click this to make this my primary menu. And then we save it. Okay. And I'm just going back out to my site. And as you can see, it made the adjustment. So books is now before about. So you can do that. If you create a page that you don't want, you can just click this down arrow, click remove. If there's a page over here that you don't want, that you want added into this menu, you just click it, you click add to menu, and it will add it. Obviously we don't want 2 about pages, so I'm going to remove that, but I just wanted to show you. Okay, last but certainly not least, if you want to change your themes, you can go back to Appearance and go to the sub-tab Themes. I'm not going to go into detail right now, but as you'll see, all these themes pop up. One great thing about WordPress is it doesn't make you start from scratch if you choose a new theme. So you don't have to go through everything I just did. Let's say you like this theme, Pen Scratch. You can preview it. It'll automatically insert or transfer the content you've already created into this new layout, into this new template, which, just to re-emphasize, WordPress calls their templates themes. So maybe you like this format better. I could put the header up here, but I'm not going to go through that right now. This is actually the end of the tutorial. You can contact me through my email at mjtannian@gmail.com. Don't email me at the email address that you saw in this tutorial. I just created that for the purpose of this tutorial, and I won't be checking it. Another option is you can go to miketannian.com and you can sign up for my newsletter. You can learn more about me here, and you can contact me. Alright, thank you for your time, and I hope you found this helpful.